You didn't come this far to play small. This is Winning Daily, the podcast that builds winners in life and in business. Welcome home.
Edward Solis, rolling. Awesome. And we're back. This is episode 15. And today we have on a very special guest. I'm here joined by my partner, Mr. Mark Henderson, as always. And our guest today is here. He is a husband, he's a father, he's a leader, he is a mentor to at-risk youth. And he has a very awesome story that he is going to share with us today. And if you guys don't know, this is Eddie Soliz. Eddie, why don't you introduce yourself to the people at home?
Hello, my name is Edward Solis, and just real quick, come from an exciting background, interesting background, and I'm just here to uplift and give back to the community. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to, have a platform to speak and share with. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. So Eddie is, do you prefer Eddie or Edward?
Either one.
Okay. He's like, just don't call me late for lunch, man.
Exactly. They're cool hours.
Sorry. So yeah, Eddie was introduced to me. I just had the privilege to connect with Eddie today. We went to do a little breakfast and coffee before this episode, but he was introduced to me by Mark, actually. So you guys have known each other for a couple of years?
Yeah, for a couple of years. We met at the gym. Just when you walk by everybody at the gym, you do it for like a year, and you're like, hey. And then one day he came up to me, and we just started bullshitting. And every time we see each other, we have some sort of chat.
Yeah, I've heard about you, Eddie, before because Mark had talked about you a couple times to me. He said, hey, I think you and Eddie would get along really well. And now we got matching tattoos, man.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys aren't watching this, obviously there's some people that listen to these episodes, whatever. But if you guys are watching this is going to be a different type of episode. So I suggest that or if you're not watching this, I suggest that you do watch this episode, because this is going to be probably one of those episodes that's a roller coaster. And it's going to be something for you to really tune into no matter what your background is. And so this is probably something you want to see too. So again, appreciate you guys. But so you guys have known each other for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
So
last couple of years.
yeah. And Eddie, so you were born and raised in Southern California, man. And where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're born and raised.
So I was born in Whittier, California. Then I was raised in Fullerton, Orange County. From there, it was just kind of, 87 baby, 90s was, it's kind of simple for me, but of course, in that area, you are, influenced and just, kind of moved around different, elements and, paradigms there. You have the skateboarders, you have the taggers, and you have the gangbangers, and I kind of just fell into that category in my life. And, from there, it's just been kind of a uphill battle, for me.
So you talked to a couple of things earlier, but at breakfast we were talking about this, and now you do a lot of work with at-risk youth and this type of thing, where you guys are basically mentors. You're a mentor in these people's lives. And we just talked about this on camera. You have something coming up here. We'll talk about more later in the episode. But where you guys are doing like interventional strategies.
Yes.
But I think one of the biggest things that I caught from you earlier, we were talking about identity. And so that's kind of when I want to reveal some of your identity. So you at some point in your life had, obviously gotten involved with some of these activities that cost you, time away from your family and whatnot, right?
Yes, sir.
So at what age did that start for you, man? And this identity get formed?
I believe my identity for me started getting a little hazy at around 11 or 12ish, playing sports, baseball, football. The school I went to, my elementary school, was kind of predominantly white, so where I dealt with racism around that time. So it's like, you either tried skateboarding and fit in, or you didn't, and eventually I just kind of got pushed into my ethnicity group. And with that came, the other stuff, which was either gang banging, tagging, sports, whatever. I already tried the sports, so it was like the next thing. To where it put a big damper on my identity and my character, because now I'm trying to fulfill this duty or this character or this persona that I see and I'm growing up around, but at the same time don't know nothing about it. So it's like questionable with your identity. Like, is this who I am? Is this what I want to be? Is this all that there is? And so that was my biggest problem growing up. And and I don't want to say I was the smartest man around, but I started figuring out at like 14 years old after I caught my first case. I was like, dang, this isn't really what I want to do, or it's not what was advertised to me or what I thought it would be, but I already had signed up for the job. So it was kind of like wait it out and hopefully I survive and make it. But I didn't allow that to stop me from trying to find myself, you know.
So at 14,
You caught a case.
you already
12 years old, I caught the case, but I think around 12 and a half, but I think around that time is where I was like, okay, like this is
so at 14 you knew like, man, I'm stepping over this line and I'm cool with it. Wow, that's young.
you know, as I had told somebody before, you know, you some people get into things not knowing the consequences or not knowing what's going to happen, right? Well, I kind of already was prepared for that. I was okay with the death. I was okay with the jail cells, and I was okay with the possibility of taking a life. It's what we were kind of taught at those areas. So that's kind of what I was prepared for. And like I said, it took a real big stronghold on me because now you're that person. That's the persona you created.
The identity.
Yes.
And the reason why I asked these things was because there's probably somebody listening to this or watching this. Like our whole business is built around fitness and mentoring in the health and fitness space. So that's why you're here. You know, obviously it's leaders building other leaders. And we talked about this previous episodes, and we talk about this in the curriculum that we teach, or, you know, in the coaching calls, where it's like, hey, the real position of a leader is not to elevate yourself, it's to elevate other people higher up in leadership. So when I grew up in South Louisiana, and so, you know, there's
Louis, baby.
yeah, there's racism in every state, right? It's not like, and I don't think that racism is like one directional here. You know, it is like I've seen every race be racist, right? But one thing that we do know is there's a shitload of bad parenting, right? Like there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of really weak and bad leadership.
Yes.
And so when someone is not there to help someone that is relatable to the youth, whether it's like a coach or a mentor, that somebody else, it's maybe not the parent, because the parent's frustrated trying to provide for the kid all day long. But that's why these programs like what you guys have going on are so important, because you can be a third-party voice that's neutral but highly influential to these people, where you can change people's direction in life. And so at that time, did you have anybody that was like that, or is this something that you kind of tuned out of?
Yeah, I tuned out of that, to be honest, bro. I always had somebody around me, like a family member or a friend of the family member, that would see me doing the things that I was doing and be like, hey, what are you doing? Or try to correct me. But at that time, my mind was made up. There was nothing you could tell me or, you know, provide me with or persuade me with that was going to change my direction. Like I was hell bent on.
What do you think that was, man?
I was just gonna say that. No, how do you at that age like make up your mind? What did that? Was it like muddy girls?
Nah, power, bro.
Oh, it's the power.
Power.
That makes sense.
And, well, everything comes with that, right?
Yeah, well, you're right.
Power, money, girls, money, power, girls, whichever way you want to categorize it, whatever your priority is. You know, those were my role models. Gang members were my role models. That lifestyle was my role model. You know, was my reality, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when you start seeing that stuff, you know, nobody gets into any type of business wanting to just stay at that position, right? You get in knowing you're going to be probably at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
But eventually every person starts to get an appetite for more and more and more. And that's what happened to me. You know, I mean, I wanted to be somebody big. I wanted to be the man. I wanted to be that guy. So I've dove in to it all the way, hoping to hit that mark and not die. And that's kind of where it went with me.
And so at that time, you went to juvenile hall, or where did you go, man?
Juvenile hall, bro.
How long were you there for?
A year and a half.
Okay.
With my first sentence. And then I got released.
Did you work at that time? Where was fitness on your radar?
Well, I mean, of course, push-ups, you know.
You're right, but that's a measurement of fitness. No, I mean, it's still there. But my point is to kind of expose how fitness has been a part of it, whether you were like
100%. You know, the best thing juvenile hall ever did for me was give me a discipline for maintaining my fitness, because you have to fight, you have to survive, you got to be strong, bro. You know what I mean? And there was counselors in there that would push that on you, you know what I mean, or try to encourage you to, hey man, you got to work out. You know what I mean? Like someone like me, I didn't get to come out with a whole group of kids. I was always kind of like segregated or, you know, put off to the side. And it was like, all right, well, what do I do? I don't have nobody here to guide me. So there was a couple of good counselors there that were able to say, hey, want to work out? Want to do this? Want to do that? And that made me hungry for fitness. That made me hungry for being strong because, again, the power.
Yeah.
You know,
What?
not-
Oh, I was gonna ask you, what's the education like? So it's okay. So 14, you're institutionalized.
Mhm.
What was the education like in the system?
Pretty not basic, but like under basic, you know what I mean? Just minimal. You had to go to class, but you guys got people fighting in there, teachers that want to be there to really help, but really can't because of the situation and the tension and the chaos. So it's kind of like packets, you know, it's not a whole lot of schoolwork being there. It wasn't until I went to a couple of different facilities that I got to be able to experience that hands-on that I needed, the education. I graduated high school in juvenile hall. Teachers made sure that I put in the work and got where I needed to go because they were the first ones that I believe seeing something in me, some potential. I was like, hey, this kid could do something to help him out. So that was my first experience with some type of help or somebody believing in me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And now being Eddie today, knowing like you were rejecting like whatever, like if somebody was there as like a voice of reason and you were like, no, bro, like I'm not even hearing this right now. Going back to that, and I said, well, like, what is that? Like, what do you think? And the reason why I ask that is because people out there do that. Like we turn our voice away, like we turn the voice of God away. And here's just a side, like personal anecdote of mine. I remember a friend of mine asking me to go to church. I stopped going to church. I was born and raised Catholic, went to Catholic school from the age of 5 to 17 till I graduated high school. And then I didn't step back into church for like 8 or 9 years. And thankfully my wife, thankful for my wife, because I was able to get back into church. Like I turned my entire life back around. And so I didn't step into, and I'm not, it's not about church. It's about a actual relationship with God. That's where I'm going with this. But I remember before that being asked, hey, will you come to church with me? Like some of the best, most nicest people you could possibly, I remember laughing in their face and being like, I'm not going with you. And now, knowing what I know now, I wasn't saying no to them. I was saying no to God.
Yes.
And it felt like I was saying no to a person, but it was God using that person. And I was denying God. I remember like now I know. And it's like, that was the reality of what was really happening. But at that time, would you say that was kind of the same thing for you and these people?
100%. You know, it's like slapping the life jacket away, you know, and you're okay with it. And especially where I grew up at, like it wasn't nothing new. It wasn't nothing abnormal to have people die to gang violence, people die in the streets, you know. So I was just like, okay, well, either God's gonna save me, you know. And that's another thing. People expect this miraculous miracle to just come and save them. That's not. God's been sending people to you to invite you to church, you know, maybe to pray with you. You get all these little lifelines and you don't even take them because you're too busy slapping them away. And
What you guys are saying right now resonates so much because I'm one of those people. Like I'm not like all of my family they all go to church. They always have, you know. I'm like the only one that doesn't. So what you're saying right now completely resonates. So and you're not just saying this to say it. It's the real deal. I 1,000 people on this planet have said, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Or I turn on the TV and what pops up, you know, some church channel or something. So I understand what you're saying. The message is there. It's like, I'm going to be one of those dudes that holds out to the last, you know, it makes sense what you're saying. It really does.
Well, I was going to say that Mark, and I know this because I've seen it, and like we know that the church is a business. Like every church is a business. Most of them are filed as like a 501(c) nonprofit or something like that. They're supposed to be nonprofit, but they have to make a profit. But it's more like someone asked me this the other day. They're like, "How do you tie?" Like, and this is somebody who's a believer, who's like, the church going type of person. I say, "How do you like?" Because I was talking about like tithing and that kind of stuff, and they asked, well, how do you know to tithe? And I was like, because I go to church like where they keep it real, bro. Like they keep it real. Like if I wouldn't leave my 1 and 2-year-old with this person, then I wouldn't give them $1. You follow me?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like these are people, and they don't, guess what? They have people get up and walk out of church because they say things that are uncomfortable because they're telling the fucking truth, bro. And if it's not true, if you don't feel convicted, then it's probably not a good church, because there's a lot of stuff out there now that's watered down It's more about, hey,
Or pacifying that people are babysitting them or just having them come in instead of really.
and you're breeding a problem.
Yeah.
You're breeding a more.
Well, you know what's crazy is when Bree and I, my wife and I, had our children, I said, okay, I want to raise them with some structure because I do believe the church has great structure, right?
Mhm.
It kind of keeps you, you're veering off left, get your ass back in line. Yeah, and I really like that. Church and military. But so I was like, I'm gonna take my kids to school. It's a rock church. We were in Virginia Beach. And we went maybe like 4 or 5 times. I was like, okay, this is cool. This isn't like what I thought it was. It's not a Catholic church. It's going to be boring, right? It's kind of cool. Maybe like the 3rd time, I got this weird vibe like we were being scoped out, right? Because we're young, we got kids, perfect couple to indoctrinate. That's what I'm thinking. Well, on the 3rd time, this lady gets behind us in the pew, and this is a big one, so it's like stadium seating. She gets behind us, and in the middle of like the sermon, she like taps us on the shoulder, and she's like talking to us. And I knew what she was doing. She was like the salesperson or whatever. And she's like, after this, why don't you guys come and talk to us? And then she's trying to get us more in the church. I was like, we're checking this out, dude. Every single time after that, she came and sat behind us and was pitching us. And I was like, I don't want this, dude. Let me get the message on my own. Don't shove it down my throat. And then the money, she was asking for the money. And I was like, nah. And we never went back. It's like, and that my bad feeling about church was being solidified. I was like,
Again, a kind of a system,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, and it's really that's when it becomes spiritual. It's like I've been at churches where I get kind of the same feeling, and I'm like, this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
And then I get churches where I'm like, wow, I'm fed. I feel great. But that's where you have to take the chance and the opportunity and the risk, of just going. And getting in there. I try to tell a lot of people, you can never get the gifts or the blessings if you don't go to the church house or the gift house, and I get it. Like I tell a lot of people, it's the church is just a building. It's the people in there that keep it going.
Right.
And why we're there is the body of Christ, all of us. So, man, I just got to say to you, bro, get in there, whichever one it is.
Well, dude, you're here, right? You're here because the first time we talked at the gym, you did start talking about church, and I wasn't put off or offended. I actually liked it. And that's why you're here right now, because look, man, I've got a brick wall and I've got like childhood trauma and family trauma that I have to get through to be able to do that. My younger brothers obviously don't have that, and that's why they do it. But for me, it's like, dude, I got these walls, dude.
Speaking of that, I want to ask you something, man. Like, obviously being institutionalized, being in a system, like, dude, I can't imagine being away from my family, like missing birthdays, missing Christmas. And I'm not trying to do anything like that, man. It's not what I'm trying to do, but I'm just saying, like, I can only imagine the mental state that a person has to develop, overcome. But you said it, that there was times where it was more comfortable for you being institutionalized than not.
Yes.
And so you are able to give experience because you've been there and you've done that. But when someone has been in a system like that, and you see that there's a lot of like identities that are kind of misshapen, how do you like re-identify like to the general public and come back out and like, hey, this is me taking my life back?
That's I mean, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer because everybody will be doing it, right? But it's already simply said, I believe, which is letting God, let go and let God. I tried to do it so many different ways, they just weren't working for me. And I think when the attempt really took place was when I was about 28 years old. I was talking to a buddy of mine's in prison, and he was just asking me, like, man, like, things are rough. Like, what are we gonna do? Or like, basically, he was talking to me about himself, but wanted my input. And I don't know, maybe God just knew it was time, or it came out my mouth to where I was like, I've submitted, bro, and I just let God drive me now. And when I said that, I swear, like, happiness just took over me. A different spirit and vibe took over me to where it says in scripture that the potter will take you onto the potter's wheel and crush you and remold you. So you have to be willing to allow yourself to let go and be rebuilt.
Yeah.
And the person that I was at that moment was not a good person. It was not a person that I was wanting to keep around anymore. So I was like, hey, if this old person has to go, then let's get rid of him. And I started applying the word of God to my life. Started trying to conduct myself as I was reading. I'm thankful for prison. I got to go to a prison where I was working at an administration building, and I got to function with normal people.
How long were you there for?
In that prison, I was there for going on 2.5 years. I did a 6-year sentence. Got sentenced to a bunch of different prisons out of state, brought me back home, and I ended up in Lancaster, was my last prison. And I was thankful to be where I was at, because I think that's where God was like, this kid's ready, or this guy's ready to listen. And it was only when I opened up my ears and my spirit to him that I started getting the directives and the steps.
This episode is brought to you by White Rabbit Energy. If you don't know what White Rabbit Energy is, it's an alternative form of energy drink. No caffeine, no stimulants. It is a kratom-infused energy seltzer, and it's absolutely awesome. My personal favorite is the watermelon, but if you're looking for where to find White Rabbit Energy, you can just go to whiterabbitenergy.com, and we are proudly partnered with them here at Winning Daily. One of the things, Eddie, that we do here at Winning Daily is something I put together, and if you've watched this episode before, you know what I'm about to say, is the self-investment system. And it's 3 parts. It's your body, your mind, and your spirit. Because, you could go right now, we'll go in the street, see a bunch of good-looking people that are in shape, but their mind is trash, right?
Right.
Or they're weak. Like, you tell them one thing that they don't like about their, go on their Instagram and comment something, and they'll be crying, and, they'll be freaking out, right? Fall apart like that. Their mind is weak. Or you see somebody who's spiritually strong, and their body is like, hey, you're not going to live a long time, man. Like, no one's promised anything. Or you see somebody who's brilliantly minded, but they're not physically capable, right? It's like, hey, what if somebody came in here right now? Would you be able to protect your family? Right. So, and those are the conversations that I've had in my house, that I've had with myself.
Right.
And that I don't ask people to do things that I haven't done. And so when we partnered here at Winning Daily, it was all people who had come, or my partners were all people from the health and fitness space and business space. They were mentally sharp, physically sharp. So we're all here to self-invest. And that self-investment system says the body, mind, and spirit have to be aligned, or you are easy to fucking kill.
Yes.
And so this is basically what you have embodied. Like, this, and I don't know how much you've been titled this before, like the self-investor, but that's what you are. You're a self-invested. And now you're at a point where you're teaching at-risk youth these things and that kind of stuff. So from being there to now, you're a boxing coach, a boxing mentor, and more importantly, you're sharing your message. You're there to help people with these things. But one of the things I did want to ask you is, like, we talked about trauma and that kind of stuff, like, and sometimes when you've been through shit, like you've been through trauma, like you can actually joke about certain things, right?
100%.
Like, we joke in our house, like, was it big T or little T? Like, how traumatized are you? You're like,
Did you die, or did you almost die?
yeah, right? Like, and I did witness some crazy stuff. Like, I witnessed the guy ended up passing away. That guy. The motorcycle accident. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, those are hard ones.
Yeah. And it was brutal, man. And it was something that I was just minding my business on a Saturday morning, and it was horrible. But to witness trauma like this, but you've obviously witnessed that. And so I talked about this because you obviously know the situation with Miguel.
Yes.
And the things that happened, and how he was, tragically taken away in a brutal fashion. And it was heartbreaking for us.
Yeah.
It's I still haven't really, this is like me even talking about it right now is
That's where we've never really talked.
And so we've talked about this at that time, where you see people, when trauma happens, people act differently, or they change their life. You see people, do weird stuff. They cut their hair, they get fat, they get in shape. People's personality can change, or they just deal with it differently. They externalize it, they post about it all over social media, or they shut down and they go under a rock and they pop back up 10 years later. So how have you been able to deal with, whether it's minor traumas or big traumas, or, how have you been able to get through some of the trauma in your life? Because there's somebody who's probably going to watch this, and, eventually they can change their life with that.
I believe I identify with every which way you said, because I was already in a box hidden, so I didn't have to crawl too far to hide. I was already hidden. The emotional effect of it is, you're in prison, you're in a shark tank. So do you bleed? Do you cry? Or do you hide that? So and somewhat you start stuffing feelings or you lash out, violently or however you choose to lash out. Um, I honestly thank my grandma for giving me the tools that have helped me get over those trauma, and that was God. I wanted to hit on what you said in the very beginning of what you just said or now, which was mind, body, and spirit, right? We all heard that, right? Mind, body, and spirit, but we heard it from somebody else who wrote it down first. I really think that it was pitched backwards to us, which was spirit, mind, and then body. Because how you said, how did I deal with that? I went to the root, the basic, which was God. I allowed my spirit. I'm broken, bro. Know what I mean? I'm in juvenile hall, missing family. Not even just in juvenile hall, prison, the system. Every time I was in the system, I'm afraid to go home because I get into more trouble, catch a bigger case, might die out there. So it's like I'm already being welcomed back every time I go back to juvenile hall. So it's kind of a familiar place, right? The system has become a familiar place for me. So I'm okay with it. But I still wasn't dealing with any of the issues, any of the internal problems, any of the trauma,
Just side effects. You're just dealing with the side effects.
yeah, just the side effects or bandaging it, by basically fading away. But when I started reading the Word of God, bro, things just started changing for me, and so I started applying it to my spirit first. And then what do you know? When your spirit starts getting better, your mind starts following that spirit now, because now you're lifted. Now you have the spirit of God inside of you, not just yourself. You're not relying on yourself anymore. You're relying on God and self to be able to carry a little bit further. So then my mind got cleaner. And then what do you know? My body started following it. And I really believe it's like that. Look, you see, you could have somebody spiritually fit, but ugly in the gym. And it's because they're not applying it right, or maybe because somebody didn't give it to them the right way. And like I said, I believe it's spirit, mind, and then body, because I could come to the gym and bust down and feel strong, but mentally weak, spiritually weak for sure. I really believe the spirit takes care of those other categories.
Those three things have to be done daily. Yeah, it's like where the whole winning 100%, where the whole winning daily came from was like, this is, if you want to win, you must do these three things daily. And I like it. I like that, man. I like that you flipped it and you put the spirit first, because it's true.
It makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes 100% sense. I'm like, I don't know if you saw, we'll probably have a shortcut of that later on. My face was like this. I was like,
Right.
so, but so you went in, you've been in a part of the system, you're doing all these negative things. What obviously we know what changed. And so you got into, how'd you get to House of Pain? Tell us a little bit about that, man.
So, in the system, you could come across most convicts and they're going to tell you they know how to fight. I mean, maybe they do, street fight, brawl, bar fight, whatever you want to. I was one of those guys, knew how to fight, thought I was great at it. Always wanted to box because I grew up in Mike Tyson era. Always wanted to box. Never had anybody believe in me. Never had the real opportunity to do it because I'm in the system. I'm not staying out long enough. Can't pursue it. I came home at 31 and a half, a couple of days from my birthday. I was like, man, what am I gonna do? Came across, heard of House of Pain a few times. Walked in there, met the owner. It just wasn't the time for me, whether it was the person who took me there wasn't committed. I was still shy. I hadn't really got past that. Wasn't sure if I wanted to do it. But one day I just went in there and I was like, I got to do this. This is what I want to do. And again, this goes back to the spirit thing, because I was busy trying to pursue, because like I tell people, my middle name is Catch Up, bro. I'm constantly trying to catch up now from all the time that I wasted in the system, and now I'm trying to catch up, right? So I'm like, man, I want to pursue some of my dreams, some of my visions, some of my goals. So let's start doing that. So I started pursuing them. But you know what I did, bro? I put God back on the back burner. Nothing that I was trying was surviving. Nothing that I was trying was adding up. And I kept on like scratching my head, like, what the hell am I doing wrong? But I remember that relationship you're talking about. He's tapping me on my shoulder, like my wife was like, hey, you're always gone. You're busy doing this, busy doing that. Where's my time? Where's this? Where's that? So I started putting God first, church, everything, myself last. And next thing you know, he started opening doors for me. I'm at the House of Pain for going on 3 months at that time, just hoodied up, going to work. I've always been told that I should be speaking to kids or speaking to people, kind of sharing my testimony, my story. Never took it serious. But if anybody knows what conviction is, when it's on your heart, it's on your heart. And I was feeling very convicted of not taking that gift or that purpose that God had given me to the extreme, or taking it for real. And next thing you know, I made a phone call to a probation officer of mine who was in the system, who was a director now. Made a phone call to a probation officer of mine who was in the system, who was a director now. Then I figured if I could get this guy to see if to see my mind change, that he might open some doors for me, right? Because now the conviction's making me want to reach out to kids now, making me want to help people, making me want to be of service.
Just the little bug, huh?
Yeah, and I always kind of had it when I came home, but I didn't have the support system or the guidance to really pursue it. So made that phone call, he didn't answer me, right? Okay, left him a message. Was knock on the door tomorrow, maybe. Not even 2 hours after I make that phone call, this is how God works, bro. Go into the gym. Never had a conversation like this with my coach at that time. He just pulled me aside. Hey, Eddie, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's my bill or, something. And I go, yeah, what's going on, coach? He goes, how would you like to go talk to some kids this Thursday at a junior high? And I just looked at him like how you looked at me a minute ago. I was just like, what made you ask me that right now? And he goes, God just said I asked you. And I said, you wouldn't believe it, but 2 hours ago, I tried to make a phone call to get my foot in the door. And here you are opening a window for me. And from there, bro, it's just been on, started doing that, stayed training, coach seeing the potential in me, believed in me. He comes from a similar background, not having anybody to really believe in you but yourself. And once he started believing in me and feeding me, bro, he's like, he is my mentor now, to be honest. He's like a father figure to me, big brother, whichever you want to call him. He is somebody very special to me because he believed in me, and that's all I needed, to where I've been at the House of Pain for going on 2 years now. He helped me obtain my professional coaching license. I train and mentor kids, adults as well. Like I said, I've been there for going on 2 years, and everything that I've seen this man touch has developed well, and it's because he's doing it for God. And that's where I want to be at. And I seen it, if I started applying it, started working, I see this man applying it, it's working. So when he told me the name of this show, you wouldn't believe it unless I told both you guys this before I even met you guys. Me and my partner were thinking about having a conversation or a podcast somewhat similar about winning daily.
No way.
Yeah. What are you
serious?
I swear to God,
Wow.
and the reason why is this. You have guys that come from my background that will sit there and stare at you, run into the wall.
Yeah.
Constantly. You see journeymen do it to apprentice.
Right.
It's the way it rolls, right? But what are you doing? I want to tell the next person, or hear what the last person or the better person is doing daily to not make those same mistakes, or to get up and fight every day. What are you doing to put on those boots to go to work every day? And it may not even be your ideal job. It may not even be a job we're talking about. We're just talking about life is work. It's a job.
Surviving.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's tough.
So what are you doing different? What are you doing different? What am I doing different? Because it's working. I've been home for 7 years, bro. I never been home longer than 3 to 6 months, period, from 12 years old till 26 when I went in this last one. I'm home 7 years now. And that's because, for one, God, but I started applying it and, disciplining myself. The structure from prison, the structure from boxing, the drive and the will to not give up has helped me survive, and brought me here to this day. And I'm just thankful that, because when he offered the Winning Daily or this podcast to be invited here, the invitation, I was like, oh, bro, like, there's no, like, how did you,
So
yeah. And like, I wanted to say this to you earlier. Some people say coincidences are coincidences, right? But I heard that coincidences are just God's way of being anonymous. So sometimes he just drops something on you, and now here
I call it the Matrix, dude.
Yeah.
It's all code to me, man. I think it's
Go be like a true web developer.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. There's a couple things I want to like touch on. Is I've had many conversations growing up in Southern California. I've had many conversations with guys that went down the wrong path, and they always get in your ear, right?
Right.
And they want to tell you their story,
Mm-hmm.
and then they want something,
Right.
right? And I'll be honest with you. The first couple times we talked, I was like, I've heard this, but it was like the third or fourth time, I was like, no, this is genuine. This dude's the real deal, So that's what I was like. Oh, I told Gabe a couple times. I was like, man, I think I got this guy. He's like, he'd fit in with us, just not for the podcast, but just like on the daily, just
Right.
you fit in. You're that type of
Thank you.
guy that we can have conversations with, right? That are you're just a normal dude, right? But obviously you got tattoos, and some people are like, no, he's not a normal dude, but you're just a normal dude.
Yes, sir.
You really are. So I thought, yeah, I think it'd be awesome, and I'm glad that you said yes. It's coming here to do a podcast like this is not easy for some people. You got 3 cameras looking at you, got people staring at you. And for some people, it's just never, like my wife, I tell her, she's like, I could never, ever do that. To me, I like this. I like to talk and I like to have the conversations. And if we get a message across to the people out there and it helps them, that's awesome. I love that. So, yeah, no, I appreciate you being on here. And
So, because I want to say something, I think you have mentioned it right now, but since you've come home in the last 7 years, like how many times have you mentioned this earlier with like racism, stereotypes, like you have a record, right? Yeah, so it's not easy to go get a job and that type of thing. But what is a job? You mentioned that a minute ago. Like, what's a job? It didn't have to be a job. It could just be your mission in life. And that might be for a higher level for some of y'all guys that are watching. If you know, you get it. But like the stereotypes and racism, like being in the system, I know this because I have a lot of friends that have been incarcerated, and in prison, you can correct me here, a lot of it is segregated by race, right? Like the Mexicans and whites get along to a certain degree, and then other populations don't. Is that accurate? Like it's segregated by race in prison?
Yes, sir. And that's where I think some of, I don't want to say some, I believe a lot of the racism is contributed to still this day.
Really?
Yes. Because
while you're on that, okay, I have a quick question. That segregation, is it done by the inmates or is it done by the system?
Both.
Is it?
Both.
Well, okay.
It's an inherent thing, right?
Yeah. It's
I could just see like just the situation being like forced upon you, like, hey man, we got to be in control here, from the system itself, not because outside I have Black friends, I have Hispanic friends, I have Asian friends, but if I go inside, like, we're not going to be friends anymore. To me, that's systematic, right?
so I may catch a lot of backlash for it, but I keep it real. You know what I mean? That's the way I am. I have friends from all ethnicities, all races, and I was taught that if you will consider yourself a real man, you'll never have someone else ever tell you who you can and cannot talk to. Right. If it's your friend or if it's somebody you enjoy talking to or get something out of, While I was in there, I had that happen a lot in prison, not so much out here, but in the system, and then there's guys that grew up with me that some of them allowed it to take place, allowed that racism to be planted in their head or something. And I have a lot of different friends, and and some of them don't really get along because of that racism.
That these things are implanted in them, and they're and you're taught these things because we see it, and it's divisive. But at the end of the day, it's like it's almost like it's not a dog show. This isn't like a German Shepherd and a poodle and a Chihuahua. Like that's not what this is. Like we're all God's children. We're humans.
But in people that walk in there, not to cut you off, most of when you walk in there, you have a choice to say which
to identify as what you want to identify
as. And I've seen guys that are Mexican that run with a Black neighborhood, and they do that, and sometimes it's real hard for them, very hard for them, because now the Mexicans pretty much disown them, and then now they have to prove themselves to their new race or their new family or whatever,
and new loyalty,
and sometimes it's nonsense that they're having to prove themselves, or going on doing things that are not really ever
so outside of their character and nature. Going back to the identity thing,
that pushes them.
People want to identify as something, like they want to identify as something, And then this world casts stereotypes. So it's like we have internal pressure, we have external pressure, and I think that is confusing even more to identity. I look at, like, when I moved from Louisiana to California, Louisiana is very slow pace, right? Hey, you want to come over, man? Let's kick back, let's hang out. You know, it's very, very chill. Like, fishing. A lot of people know each other. Yeah, fishing. Like, what are you doing this weekend? We're going to kick back on the boat, go fishing. You know, that type of thing. And you know, there is like a lot of drinking and, you know, high paced football town, that kind of stuff, lifestyle. But out here, it's like, dude, there's mountains, there's beach, there's everything. California is like a test tube for civilization. And it's like, this is where they come to break all the fucking rules. Like, these are where the rules were made. It's like, there's laws and rules and things made up here that, like, if you want to build a home, and the permitting and whatnot is like 100 times harder than in another state or something like that, you know, to a degree. But when I look at California, I can see, like, there's a lot of like lack of parenting, because so many people are caught up in this like rat race of like, I have to go work hard and provide for my kids. So this gap, when I first moved here, I had this neighbor, and I don't even know if he's alive anymore, Mr. Bill. I'll never forget this guy. Yeah, old veteran guy, man. He's 78 years old. He's an old white guy. And he told me, we're going to live in a society of have and have nots. Either you are going to have money, food, a home, shelter, status, you're going to have basic needs, and you're going to there is the middle class is drying up. And now we see these things where it's like people want to identify as things. And I think this world is like lost and sick and suffering and broken because people want to identify as something. And that is, again, you're, it's like, hey, this thing of affirmation, like the title, the power, I'm this, I'm that, like the status of your car or your watch or like whatever it is, right? It's, these things are sickening sometimes if they're not healthily done. So how, if there's a 13-year-old Eddie out there watching this right now, and I know you got kids, but if it's not your kid, there's a 13-year-old Eddie right now who is a hard shell to crack. What would you say to him, man?
I would have to tell him to don't be afraid to listen to good advice, for one, but also take time to think and not be a follower, you know, and if you're not a leader yet, just be ready and willing to listen, and then choose which direction you want to go. Do some research first, because not everything that glitters is gold, right? And at the same time, not every road is worth traveling, you know. So it's like, for me, one of the greatest things I ever heard in my life was take time to think. Just take some time to think. Figure it out. What do you want to do? Because as a youth, I wanted to skateboard and ride bikes at the same time. Neither one of them took for me. I didn't take the time to think about those. I just enjoyed them.
Yeah.
You know? And later on down the line, my interests changed. So sometimes we're very hasty to run into certain interests that do nothing for us. You know, the bike riding and the skateboarding was no harm to me, but I'm talking about maybe relationships, maybe drugs, maybe activities, maybe just certain going out with your friends that one of them smokes and drives, and now you're crashed.
Yeah.
You know, so just take time to think, analyze things. You know, I know that's probably a lot for a 13-year-old to understand, but I think sometimes you just gotta pay attention. Pay attention.
I think having a good mentor would be so important.
That 100% is the ideal, but let's keep it real with each other. You know, like I told you guys, I was very open at a young age, but there was nothing you could have told me that was going to make me change my mind. Even if it was somebody from my area, somebody from my environment, one of my elders telling me, hey, stop, or don't do this, I'm looking at him like, yeah, okay.
Why do you think that is? Is that like, did you have a lot of pent up anger?
No, monkey see, monkey do. You're telling me not to do what you're doing, and
you're doing it. Yeah. Oh man, that's a hard message.
Yeah,
that's tough.
We just say that being like, if somewhere it's sort of maybe getting outside of that circle. But do you see a lot of people want to, like, it's like kind of like they want to gatekeep and keep people in those circumstances?
Well, it's called it's basically called keeping up with the Joneses, right? You know, everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants something to identify with. You got these cell phones that are influencing these kids more than they were when I was a kid. I didn't have a cell phone. You know, I didn't have anybody influence.
A cell phone was a way for you to get caught for the next thing you're about to do.
Yeah, we don't keep those things. Yeah, say no. But now you have this teacher in your pocket, bro, to whatever it is you want to be, and let's be honest, if you have one guy on a podcast or on a short, a doctor talking about he went to school for X amount of years to have this amount and do this and that, sounds great. It's very promising. He has a lot. Took him a lot of years to get there. Or you got some guy that may not even be a gangbanger, just may be a hustler, just may be a dealer, or somebody who's telling you how to make quicker money, faster, how to
Do it in a quicker amount of time.
yes, bro. And you're like, that sounds way more interesting than going to school for this long again, because you just probably finished school or something. So we have to think about those things, and it's just like the quick fixes. Are you gonna put duct tape on a flat tire, maybe to get to the gas station, because that's what a smart person's gonna fix it real fast, right? But then you got people that say, "Oh, it's fine,"
Yeah.
and they just keep rolling with it.
It's good enough. It's good enough. Accept this level of lives on the internet right now.
No, and I really think that well, I don't want to say I think, I know. That's why I do what I do. With the mentorship program, thank you, like I said, for my coach. He took that
So what do you do in the mentorship program? Because I know you mentioned your coach came to you and he said, "Hey, do you want to speak to some at-risk youth?" Or no, were they at risk or
just they were at risk.
okay? And so what was that next step? Did you go speak to him?
Yeah.
And then since how long ago was that?
That was about a year and a half ago.
Okay. And so what's it been since then, man?
It's been a little up and down. I had to take some time off for family reasons. My grandma was sick, so I took off like 6 months to go take care of that. That was a whole nother thing in itself, along with my uncle passing away, because I had to relearn how to grieve healthy. I had a conversation before my uncle passed away, and I had to literally eat my words, because I was telling a friend of mine's, like, I was actually a cousin. I said, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. We just grieve, right? But then then hits me, shock hits my house, shock hits my home, death hits me, to where I'm like, oh crap, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you just told so-and-so there's no right or wrong way. Just let it out, right? But there is a healthy and unhealthy way, to where I had to deal with that, and then bounce back onto basically, I had to let it go, bro. That's what I did. And I mean, nobody wants to let go of a family member, but you have to ask yourself, would that family member want you carrying them around like that and hindering your movements, hindering your
A lot of that too, like where people hold on to those things.
and it just drags them down, bro. You're literally carrying a dead body around, but not mentally. I mean, not physically, but mentally, and spiritually, emotionally, all that stuff. It's crushing, bro. So I had to make a decision for myself, and the decision was, my friend asked me this about a year ago, when I told him that I was helping kids, or doing all this stuff, and he goes, he knew who I was before, and he sees who I am becoming now. He met me in prison. He's hung out with me out here. He sees my movement, my dedication, the commitment to it. He's like, how do you do this, bro? And I had to think about that for a second. And what I said was, what do I look like letting everybody else drown because I give up or become too tired? And I just read something a minute ago. If we're tired, we should practice getting good rest instead of quitting. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I had to really think, like, okay, I'm planting my feet in this, both feet in this, and I'm gonna do it, because I can't allow all these other people to fall and that are relying on me. I read something somewhere that God gives us a certain amount of flock for us to guide and for us to talk to and relate to and get through to, because maybe not everybody you talk to or I talk to or some talks to is going to resonate with what we're getting, right? Or what we're saying. So he gives us the ones that he knows will, but they will only go as far as you go. So if I quit or I give up, then they become lost sheep again. And that's not right, bro. You know what I mean? And so that's my thing at the House of Pain. I bridge the gap between the coach and the youth. Also, I could relate to them. Coach does an amazing job with all of us. He's very seasoned with youth, meaning 5 to 12 and all the way up to adults. He also mentors parents, so that's what I was going to get into as well when you're talking about these parentings, right? He mentors parents, and he leaves me with the kids to be able to not be such an authority figure, but more of a guidant figure, which is like, hey, what are you doing, bro? Or why are you doing this? Or let's do this. Let's try this out. Like an influencer, but a mentor, making sure that they're not doing the dumb things that they do and push them to continue to grow.
You ever feel like dealing with kids is like it's like you're being a salesperson too? Sometimes you're like, hey, like when you ask them like, why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing here? Yeah, you're like trying to get them to understand without like having it fully be your idea. Like it's their idea. You have to like help them understand in a different way to kind of like draw insight to things.
It's so funny, bro. So 2 days ago, I got a 5-year-old boy. He's amazing, very sharp. Been wanting to do boxing for a while because he sees dad doing it, and he's interested, right? I always say no because the boy won't listen to me. And when it comes to anything, training, dad, what color is this? It's blue. No, it's green. You know damn well it's blue, boy. He will go again. I call it the father-son syndrome. No matter what, the son's always going against the dad, you know? Well, I agreed to take him to boxing. I'm like, all right, let's go, bro. So I agree. He's putting in the work a little bit, but he got tired. And he's like, I don't want to do this no more.
Oh.
Well, Miss Mary is the mom of our gym, right? That's Coach's wife, Miss Mary. She's a big blessing, man. She walks out, and I don't know what she said, or she just had that grandma touch, and kid's moving, and he's going along, and I'm like, wow, what did you, girl? You want? Well, you come home and make this dude do that. But it's so true what you said is that we have to try to figure out how to sell them the idea, get them moving, keep them engaged, keep them interested, and also let them know that this is going to help you in the long run. And they, at a young mind, you don't even know what a long run is. So they're just like, okay, it's one of my hardest things, bro, to be honest.
How are you? Go ahead.
Let's plug. What's your coach's name over at House of Pain?
David Trujillo.
David Trujillo.
Yes.
So I'm not in the gym space like these guys are. These guys, my partners, I'm more of the techie type. So a lot of this stuff is gray for me. So you keep referring to coach. So I assume that the House of Pain is kind of like a jiu-jitsu, whereas there's one person that is in charge of the entire facility, and then there's maybe another 4 or 5 of Eddies in there also. Okay. Whereas like what I'm familiar with gyms is a gym, and then there's like a bunch of trainers in there.
The head coach.
Yeah. Well, the ones, so Eddie or Mr. Rio is, he owns it.
Yes.
House of Pain. Okay, cool. So it's a franchise.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a franchise?
Yeah, we have one in Colorado.
Okay.
There's a branch out in Colorado.
Okay.
They're expanding.
Well, you're
to
at
grow.
Southern California and Colorado.
And then you were telling us earlier that they teamed up with another organization.
Yeah, we're teaming up with Lifeline,
Lifeline. Okay.
which will be out at risk, and also so it'd be prevention and at risk already. So, and then also rehabilitating.
Can you define what is? I mean, I think I have an idea. I think Mark has an idea. But anybody who's watching this that doesn't know at risk, what is at risk, man?
At risk is you're on the, you know, when parents start seeing the kids swaying maybe because of their grades, and then they start seeing them behaving bad or hanging out with the wrong crowd, and then now you're like, you weren't too busy. I mean, I wasn't worried about you then, but now I see you're at risk. So it's when you start to identify the risky behavior, when they're starting to be at risk of going to jail, dying, making bad decisions, you know. So we try to catch that before it happens. So that would be the at risk and the prevention as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because that might not be something that everybody knows about at risk. Like, what does that mean? How is it defined? But it doesn't have to define the person. It's not another identifier. No. It's just like an idea of like, hey, this person could be at risk.
It's just a category of where you could be at, or where you might be at.
Yeah.
You know, because next thing you know, it's what's after that. If you're at risk, then you are already in it after that, right? Or let's put a stop to it and try to reach you off before they get really scared off that risk factor, and now you're doing something better to life, so you're no longer a risk.
How do you get those like those kids or the youth or that person that is hesitant, that's like, look, man, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, how can you guys make it more attractive? And is by bringing in people like yourself that have been there, done that. Like, hey, man, I've been in your shoes. This is what was my experience. Does that help it become relatable?
To me, I kind of just come down to their level. You know, I remember I was a kid, And what I wanted at that time was to have somebody basically be a big brother to me. I was the oldest of me and my brother, so I had a lot of family members, but nobody ever really came and like try to understand me or understand what's going on or even take the time to listen to them. I believe almost 85% of what's going on just needs to be talked about.
Right.
And then once you talked about it, it's kind of like, okay, we could do this, or we could just let it play out and see what's going to happen. But it needs to come out of your chest. I mean,
I have a question. You 38, right? You, with all the knowledge that you have, all of the experience that you've gone through over the last 25 years, do you think if you met yourself at 14, you could get the message through now?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
That's powerful.
I think
That's
so.
powerful.
I think the reason why would be able to be truthful about it.
Yeah.
That's all I do. You cannot fight the truth. You could only defeat a lie with the truth. So I believe half the time we're lied to, right? Or brainwashed or given some type of ideal of what it should be or what it could be or what it's going to be. And then next thing you know, we see it and we're like, that's not it.
Yeah.
So then I changed gears. I moved into different places and I'm like, I see that now. And this is one of my biggest things, bro. I tell a lot of my older heads that I come across that are, thank God they're still alive, and I get to explain this to them or give this to them. And this is for everybody, bro. A lot of them helped me survive prison, survive the streets, become a strong gangster, man, whatever you want to call it, right? But they forgot one thing. And the thing that they forgot, and I tell them this all the time, I look at them like, hey, thank you for all this, this, and that. And they're like, they feel good, right? But I'm like, hey, you forgot something, bro. And they're like, what? What? I'm like, when you decided to go buy cars, houses, bikes, and RVs and all that stuff and switch lanes, you forgot to come back for me and teach me that stuff. You taught me all the ways over here, but you didn't teach me how to advance or grow or get away from it, how to switch lanes. So my biggest thing is trying to get them to switch lanes, to see that it's possible, because now that's my responsibility. Because if you just walk by that person while they're, falling or at risk, then you're just as guilty as the rest of the people.
Yeah, that you didn't stop and witness them. Sorry, I got background. I did better. That so when you guys are doing these like interventions, so you mentioned this before. Talk to us a little bit about like what Lifeline is. How are you guys how are you partnering with them? What's the goal here?
Well, it's still in the makes and it's still in the works right now, but what I see going on right now is going to be very phenomenal. It's going to be changing for California, I believe, because it's already established in Colorado. It's 85% success rate. And it's not just dealing with gang members. It's dealing with just people in general, families, that need help, assistance, some type of insight to why our minds tick a certain way, or maybe even our genetics. Like, what can we do with that?
You grew up in public school?
Yes.
And do you think the public school system in California, at least, or in the public school system, from what you know it to be, do you think it like contributes to the penal system and the prison system and that kind of stuff?
100%, bro. So I heard this thing, and I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's kind of like cool to look at and think about, and kind of like, wow, that maybe would have saved my life. So it's like this. Imagine if they would have never taken out the Bible out of the schools and then put them into the prison system. So that means you want me to find it, but laser in life. So why don't we keep that book?
Right.
And
Things are out of order. Yeah, is that what I was saying? Things are out of order,
bro.
It's kind of like what you said earlier about the self-investment system. It's like, hold on, time out. Wouldn't spirit be first?
Exactly. Yeah, it's in fact, but bro, yeah, and I believe the system is like that to this.
I think I did it that way alphabetically. Now that I don't think it was by design. I think it was like body, mind, spirit. But I like spirit first.
No,
sorry.
That's the way it's pitched, bro. It's body, mind, and spirit, or mind, body, spirit.
Right. So the reason why I asked that is because I've seen this often in not just, I mean, it's everywhere, but California, like I said, it's like a test tube of civilization, right? And yeah, it is. But like we used to live in Moreno Valley. We used to live in Moreno Valley, and my 3 oldest kids went to school there. And I mean, in middle school, they're like kids that are smoking meth, my dude, I won't get too far into it, but like it was crazy. One of my daughters was in a fight club after school, bro. Yeah, and you know how we know? Because we found a phone.
TikTok.
Yo, we found a phone. Someone had sold her a burner phone at school. We found the phone to record on. Yeah, look, Eddie knows what's up. He's like, he's not surprised by any of this stuff. So yeah, and we found it, and I was like, what? Like, dude, I was like, what? Like,
You know some good fights though?
yeah, she was like she had like a straight on hockey fight. She had homegirl, she's like socking her up. And I was like, bro, what? No, but this is like also my little girl.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
What are you doing?
dude, but you have to think like, hold on, time out. Like, what have I shown you or not shown you? But it wasn't that. It was, I was allowing them to be exposed. I was like opening their eyes and their ears to like other outside influences that didn't belong there. And so like Eddie was saying, like by you not doing something or like not knowing, then you're opening these things. So I think everybody just has to wake up a bit and realize like, hey, look, these are the things that happen in these systems, like public school, even private school. Like, I'm not saying private school is that great either, because there's racism. Yeah. And, there's racism, there's bullying. I remember buying that same daughter shoes, like some sick ass Nikes. She comes home from school, she never wears them again. I'm like, hey, how come you didn't wear them? Oh, they said those were boy shoes. I was like, who said that? You know what I mean? Now I'm like, I know I do want you to go beat them up. It's like, yeah, so it's like all these things that you're dealing with, all these social pressures. But I think that as parents, you are called to be a leader. And one of the things that I have seen is parents of teenagers, once they get to be a certain age, they are not leading by example. They've let themselves go. They're fat. They're sloppy. I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings. I just don't fucking care. But they have let themselves go, and you're not looked up to. You're not respected as a leader because you don't do what you say you're going to do and when you say you're going to do it, and you don't have God in your home. You're not the one teaching them. You're not the one reading the Bible to them. You're not the one praying over them. You're letting other people influence your kid. And I think, and when they're like, well, he shaves now, poor mijo, we'll just let him do his thing. And it's like, no, it's like he needs you now more than ever, even though they look like a grown up, even though like I would see kids would be driving home from school, and I would see these kids walking home from school, and I'm like, look, dude, I love California. The weather's great out here.
But your old butt's hanging out, and you walk out like that, girl.
Yeah, dude, you're never
15.
never, not even that. Or yeah, that too. But I would also see like a 7-year-old, like, dude, this is a second grader walking home by themselves. Like, where are they going? Like, dude, there's a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit right here on the side of the street, and this kid has a backpack bigger than them. They're walking home. It's like, where are you
All it takes is somebody to push them over. I have the same worry, bro. All it takes is somebody. My daughter walks home from school sometimes. She's 13 now, but there's on Temecula Parkway, you have that long
yes,
our Pachanga Park.
Yeah.
Pachanga. Yeah, the black top. So she takes that, but I used to worry about my other kids when they walk. And I was like, all it takes is for a bike rider to come by, or somebody jerk and push them in while that car's coming, and
some asshole in a Tesla.
Yeah. You live off of Pachanga Parkway too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm right across the street from Pachanga. Where are you at?
On the reservation.
Oh, you go? Oh, okay. Cool. Can I get on that res?
Of course, bro. Cause man, come through. You like bowling? No, yeah, you have bowling.
I got a funny story I'm gonna tell you one day. You know where the white football is?
Yeah.
Oh, that separates.
Yeah.
I when I first moved here, I got a house right there, and I had my business, scenting.com, and I'd have like 100 orders. I did everything out of my house. I had like 100 little boxes stacked, and the UPS guy would come. One day I just hear like the boxes fall over, and I'm like, dude, is it windy out there? I look out there, and some kid jumped over from the res, and he's running with my boxes, and I'm in my underwear working. I run out in the middle of the street. I'm like, motherfucker, if you don't stop and get over here right now, I'm gonna.
In your underwear?
Dude, I'm in the middle of my neighborhood street, screaming at her. Dude, that kid just said, turned around and walked back and gave me my box.
Wow.
I was like, oh, because I wasn't really gonna run after. I needed my this stuff. But it was so funny, man. He hopped over the freaking white wall, and I was like, Jesus
He
Christ.
ain't been spanked yet,
Well, you look like he was like 13. But he's just screwing around, But yeah, it was funny, man. So on the res, dude, I went on there one time for girls basketball. My daughter was playing. So.
If you guys don't know what they're talking about, it's if you're outside of California, it's an Indian reservation here.
Yeah, in Southern California,
Pachanga.
Pachanga.
Yeah, out.
Yeah. Is that our new sponsor?
Yeah.
Say no.
It's a different life for sure. I gotta say that I wish that it was introduced to me a lot earlier. Like I said, I grew up in Orange County. It's only an hour away from Temecula. I didn't grow up knowing anything about Native Americans besides what I grew up in school. And like I said, we could talk about the school system, but they ain't telling the truth about it.
Man.
They're not serving you the real, so I'm thinking Native Americans and all Indians were dead and scalped by the army or by, whatever. Now, my wife's Native American, my kids, I did my ancestry. I found out that I have Native American in me. And it's very awakening. I tell people you cannot really know where you're going until you know where you came from.
Yeah.
And what you know what you have inside of you, it's very belonging.
Yeah.
It's acceptance, and you also kind of get to understand yourself more once you get to know where you came from. Like people, I used to always hear this a lot, savages, right? Well, hey, I think they had a reason to be that. I think they had a reason to be.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I love Temecula. I love living on the res, but I just know that God has given me a bigger order than just that, and so it's just my thing. My mission is, bro, is just to continue pushing for the Lord.
Keep going, man. You're a real deal, dude. And I'm 51 years old, and I've met so many damn people, been around the world 2 different times, and met a lot of people. And there's some people that are good salespeople, and then there's some people that are just the real deal. You kind of have to get through personality sometimes, but I think you're genuine and you're honest in what you're saying. You're not just doing it. There's no monetary benefits to what you're saying. So, you're doing it from the heart. And I think as long as you keep the grind and grind and grind, good things are going to happen, man. It's what you put in, you always get 10. What is it? What do they say? You put in $1, you get 10 times back. I think it's the same thing with your effort and what you give to people emotionally. You're going to get that back tenfold. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. I like it. I wouldn't have offered to come on unless I saw some definitely genuine personality there. So
Yeah, I see. I just want to say this to you guys as well. I appreciate the opportunity, but I also want you guys to know that you make a difference by opening up this platform for not just yourselves, but for people like me and those that can help give other people guidance or some kind of direction and light. Because honestly, if we didn't have any type of direction or guidance, we'd just be running in circles, right? And nobody's going anywheres, and that's where I feel like it really takes somebody to be either sick and tired of what they're going through to wake up. That's where I was at, sick and tired, wanting more. Hey man, what are you doing that could help me out? And I just took to things like that. I've always been the type of person as came with this saying in prison, bro: beware the young and the reckless, and stay close to the old and cautious. They did not make it by no mistake. And I mean, if they want to fall off short, fall off early, there's your crowd.
that doesn't pertain just to being in there. It pertains to life
That's
itself.
life, brother.
And you know what? I will say this. I don't mean to hijack you, but I noticed the whole family organization, there's not a lot of kids. There's not a lot of my friends that talk about, oh yeah, my grandparents this, grandparents that. And if you don't have your elders passing the message down, then you do have a lot of loss. And I think that's I see that a lot is there's just a lot of lost people out there that have no foundation or someone holding their hand. But anyways, that's all right. They go on
The blind leading the blind,
Yeah, and we have a lot of time. I think that people are instant. It's a culture of instant gratification. That's not anything new.
So bad.
That's been around for the last 25, 30 years or so, and that's where we're at now. How about some hot seat questions? You want to do some hot seat questions?
Let's just do it. Real quick before these hot seat questions, I want to leave you guys with a couple of things that I think would pertain to this platform period. Fitness, number one, right? I came with this the other day when I was at the gym. And I'm sure we might think it or want to do it, but as much effort and discipline we put in the gym, I believe that amount, if not more, needs to be done when you're sitting down and making eating choices, food choices. because there's no point in busting your butt to get in shape, but then you go and feed yourself junk. You know what I mean? And it's not because of lack of choices. Sometimes it's because the lack of
Knowledge.
no, the lack of discipline.
Yeah, I think hard work, I've always told that to clients. It's like when you go put in like genuinely, you have to like work your ass off. The appeal of going and eating like shit goes down a lot. You know, it's like if you still want to go eat like shit after your workout or you're okay with that, you're not working hard enough. Because if you work hard enough, you will not want to do that.
Right. You know, and the second thing is you know, with you guys is winning daily. You know, for those that feel like they're not winning daily, or they may just be hitting a mediocre or stuck. Stuck. You know, understand that in order to win, we gotta fall a little bit. You know what I mean? Like nobody goes in the gym knowing what they're doing. They had to work up to that, to where now they're, hey, I'm winning, right? But you had to go through that process of the fight. That fight's so worth it. Just keep fighting, and then you will be winning.
Yeah, it's the small wins too, right? And it's
Exactly.
just be like showing up. Hey man, it's like you walked in the door today. That's a win.
That's a win, bro.
Hey, you're here, you're present. Like there's a lot of people didn't get that.
It's okay to fail.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of people are raised saying, "Oh, you should never fail. Oh, you always need first place." It's
talking by social media too,
right? Yeah, you need to fail. You've heard me say this a million times. Every good CEO that has a startup, they try and break their system on purpose, because when you break it and you fail, you know what to rebuild and what to build better. So it's okay to fail. If someone's out there, man, fail. It's okay. It's a good thing.
Just get up.
Yeah,
Just get back.
just get up.
Keep moving.
Don't stay down.
Yeah, don't stay down, man.
So ready?
Hot seat.
Okay, let's go. All right, I'm gonna alternate. I'm gonna go from Eddie back to Mark, back and forth. Okay. Biggest loss you've ever taken in your life, man?
Biggest loss, I would have to say, my freedom. Okay, my daughter's freedom. Because of my situations and my decisions and what I did, I lost my daughter to the system for about 4 years, and my wife adopted her, but that was my biggest loss. I told somebody before, money, women, jewelry, materialistic things, none of that stuff gives you that instant gratification you're talking about, besides when you get released from jail or giving your freedom back. Then later on, I had to eat those words again, because my freedom is my freedom. But when I was giving my daughter back, bro, that was something different, you know, and that was my biggest loss right there.
We got biggest loss in your
Grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Biggest win in your life?
I'm alive, bro. Today.
Woke up, brother. Let's go, baby. Brother, biggest win.
My kids, man.
Let's go. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
One type of shoes the rest of your life, you're stuck with them. What are you gonna wear?
Jordan ones.
Yeah. Let's, bro. Jordan's go. I do not have my Olakois, my flip flops.
Okay, I was
Like
gonna
Hawaii-
say, what the hell is okay? Put us on game, man. Put us on game.
I gotta say this one for the old fellas, though. You guys are wrong. The hey dudes, those things are by far
All right. Hey, what's up, Andrew? What's happening, baby boy? Okay. Netflix binge or YouTube rabbit hole?
Netflix binge.
Yes. Okay.
You don't need that.
Yeah. Mark's a YouTube.
I like YouTube, man.
Road trip or flight?
Road trip.
Okay.
Road trip, no doubt.
Really, some different answers than what I got from Adam and Jason. Okay. Let's say spicy or mild.
Spicy.
He said if it's not making me sweat, I don't want it.
Southern California, dude, spicy.
All right, let's go. That's right. Okay. Let's say squats or deadlifts, if you had to pick one.
Bro, deadlifts.
Okay.
Treadmill.
All right. Let's see. Roads. Let's do this. Courtside NBA or 50-yard line in the NFL for seats. Courtside.
Like 50 yards.
Yeah, I'm going 50.
Okay. I'm sorry. NFL. Let's see. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Early bird for sure.
I think I've asked you this one
Yeah,
before.
man.
Home gym or gym membership? Mark.
Gym membership. I'm lazy.
Gym membership.
Yeah. Okay. Comedy movies or action movies, Eddie?
Action.
Comedy for sure.
Okay. TikTok scroll or Instagram scroll?
Neither.
Neither. Both of y'all. Let's see. Book in
Throw it in YouTube.
book in hand or audiobook?
Book in hand.
Audio. I'm lazy.
Okay. Boxing or UFC, Eddie?
That's a tough one for you, man.
Let him think, man.
I gotta say UFC, bro.
Okay. Yes.
That was my first.
So
Yeah.
I'll say this. Before I moved to California and Virginia, I used to have boxing parties. We'd have friends come over. I was just infatuated with boxing. And then I moved to Southern California back here, and dude, I love UFC, man. I don't know. It's just like, and boxing is kind of lost its flair in the last 10 years. Unfortunately.
Dana White's a G, bro. Let's just,
Well, not only that, there's just, if you don't have a solid heavyweight champion, boxing's going to struggle, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Let's see. What do we got? Would you draft a rookie phenom or trade for a veteran star? You taking like top guy out of college, or you taking an OG from the film?
OG from the field.
I mean, I need the structure. OG for sure.
Okay. All right. Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Okay. Let's see. Wings, bone in or boneless?
Bone in.
Bone in. I like Jason's answer.
Yes.
No bone, then
It's a chicken nugget. Don't say you're a grown man eating chicken nuggets.
That's such a good
Supersets or heavy singles?
Supersets.
heavy singles.
Okay. Stretch before or stretch after?
Before.
Neither.
All right. Let's see.
But after.
Camping weekend or Vegas weekend?
Oh shit. Oh.
That's a good.
I would camp in Vegas.
Camping weekend or Vegas?
Only with him on that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Concert or sporting event?
Sporting event.
Concerts.
Really?
Yeah. All of you. What'd you say?
Me?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I said.
Just curious. Because Jason and Adam both said
Concert or sporting event? Honestly, you're gonna
sporting event.
probably take a sporting event.
Unless it's country music, right? Then you go to.
Probably still sporting event. You'd be surprised. It depends. And well, you never know, man. Maybe you get something at the halftime show. Pizza or sushi?
I like sushi, bro.
Sushi for sure.
Okay. Let's see. Outdoor run or treadmill?
Nowadays it has to be treadmill, but
Yeah, you're a marathoner.
yeah, I ran
Something like
tons of marathons. Yeah, I love it. I wish I could do it.
you're out of your mind. There's no way I'm running more than a mile.
Outdoor.
Okay. Let's see here. Road trip playlists or podcasts?
Road trip playlist.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm into podcasts right now. I'll go podcast.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Cats, dude. No way. Dogs for sure.
Dogs and cats. Okay. Let's see here. I got one more for you, and I know what Mark's reaction to this is gonna be. But karaoke, you have to pick a song.
Oh,
What song are you picking? Like you have to pick one. Go, Eddie.
think.
Eddie does not strike me as the type of person that's gonna do karaoke. Like and I know Mark's like, dude, we're like you
I
make
got a song if I really had to.
okay.
I'll put a gun to my head and I had to sing a song. I know one.
Okay.
Somebody please. An oldie song.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Three Little Birds by Bob Marley.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
Those are acceptable answers. All right, cool. So Eddie, tell people of America and at home what's next for you. What's coming up, man? What's going on in your
Love
life?
Boys too.
Yeah. And,
Plug it. We'll put a link in.
yeah. So tell everybody what's coming, man.
I just want to say, stay tuned. You know, life is a journey. All I know is I'm going up, and you know, reach out to House of Pain, Lifeline Colorado, Southern California. Just keep your eyes open for me for motivation, encouragement, and also to help the next person out. You know what I mean? I'm just a servant trying to get the word out.
How can people get in touch with you, man? Give us what's the best way to reach you?
House of Pain, Temecula, California. Walk in and ask for Coach Eddie.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw you're on their website. They have a little page for you. So they could contact you through there, right? I think is your phone number on there?
I believe so.
Yeah.
If not, it's 951-972-9577. Loan harassment.
Awesome. Yeah, Eddie, it's been a privilege, man. Yeah, that's amazing. I think we'll be following up with you to have you here again on the show. But guys, thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Thanks for tuning into the Winning Daily YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and go right here and turn that notification bell on. We look forward to winning daily with you.